Okay, my goal in this video is to dig a little deeper into the patient profile screen of a patient record. In this case, this current patient is Jason White, a 42-year-old male. And the first thing I want to look at is at the top of the patient profile screen. In this case, there's no alert. So what that tells me is that this patient is linked to our practice via the patient app. That means Jason created a patient site account via the patient application and either connected our invitation to connect or sent us an invitation to connect, which we subsequently accepted. If I go to a different patient chart, in this case for Pamela Ross, different from Jason, we see a alert at the top of this patient profile screen just letting us know that Pamela does not have a patient site account that is connected to our record. Doesn't necessarily mean she doesn't have a patient site account, but she just hasn't accepted our request to connect or hasn't sent us an invitation to connect. So she either doesn't have a patient site account at all or just hasn't connected to our practice yet. And then the third potential alert situation, slightly different alert. We'll go to John V in this case. And in this case, what it tells us is that this patient profile is currently linked to our practice only as the guardian of a minor patient. The profile is not yet linked as a patient of your practice. So in this case, we created Boy V as a part of the patient side interaction. For Boy V, John accepted our connection request, and as such, we're connected to some of John's information. So basic patient demographics, identification, and contact information. But if John V has any insurance information on the patient side or health history information, things of that nature, those will not be connected to our practice since he's only connected as the guardian of a minor. So if we go back to Jason, who is a connected patient to our practice, very basic interactions. We can edit any of these sections. So in this case, personal info, I can cancel out or save any changes that I make. Same for identification. I can remove an existing card image, upload a new card image either by scanning that card in, or if I'm on an iPad or device that has a camera, the interaction will allow me to just simply take a photo of that ID and it will get uploaded here in this section. Contact information, we can edit this. I can add an additional phone number if there's a secondary phone I want to add. One thing to note, since this is a connected patient, the email field is grayed out, and if I hover it over it, I get a little message which just tells us on a patient that is connected to our practice via the patient side. So they've verified their email address on the patient side and now they've connected. We can't change their email address on the practice side, or else there will be some security concerns and some issues that arise. So this email address can be changed, but it has to be changed on the patient side if the patient has already connected to our record. Emergency contacts, I can add a new contact, edit an existing contact. In the legal section, I can view different versions of authorizations that have been signed. Versions of the NOPP, if there's more than one version that they've executed over the course of time. And then versions of their release of record privileges. In this case, there's only one. And for this particular patient, they did not list anyone as being authorized for us to release records to. But that can be edited on the patient side. So there's times where there might be two versions. It'll show you what's the most up-to-date. And the most up-to-date one is what will be shown on the panel itself. For adult patients, if there's any minors associated to them, you'll see them in the dependents panel. If I click on Jeffrey White, I will be directed to Jeffrey White's patient record. I can also add additional dependents if I need to for this particular adult. And then on a, let's go to Jeffrey White while we're here. On a dependents profile, the main difference is down here, again, the guardian section. We can see what guardians are attached to this particular dependent, and if I want to, I can add a second guardian. If, let's say, mom is with the patient on this appointment. If we go back now, if I hit this View Guardian Profile icon, I'll go back to Jason's chart. And we'll look at the insurance panels very high level, but I will also dig in a little deeper in the insurance panels in a subsequent video because there's a lot of functionality here. But essentially, I can create a new policy even if there's a primary, if this patient has a secondary. I can obviously edit any policy that's already there. I can also get rid of a policy. Let's say it's expired. It's going to ask me why I'm getting rid of it, duplicate, inactive, incorrect. But the system is also always keeping a record of that. So we can always see the history. In this case, there's really just the one. But if I had inactivated a policy previously, it's going to show a timeline of those events. And then I can, if indicated, I can copy a policy. So let's say the medical and dental policies are the same, or I accidentally entered it in the medical panel, but it's really a dental policy, or the patient did that on the patient side, I can move a policy to a different type. And then those panels for medical, dental, vision are all exactly the same. And then what any panel on this screen, I can confirm that section. So let's say the patient last confirmed this insurance section 5 days ago. Let's say I am the staff who verifies policies and I confirm it today. I can update that timestamp, and now the system notifies anyone who interacts with this panel that this policy was confirmed by this user at this particular time. And then last thing from a high level we'll look at is at any point if I want to export this data, I can export a PDF of the demographics and insurance data. And then actually one last thing, any data point on this demographics and insurance screen that I want to move into a different system, whether it's street address, I click and it's copied, insurance phone number, group ID, insurance company, simple one-click copy. And if I have my other system up in a secondary screen, it makes the transfer of data super clean and super quick from system to system. And that is a very high-level overview of the patient profile screen. As I mentioned, I'm going to dig in a little deeper on the insurance policy interactions because there's a lot of interesting features there in a follow-up video, but that's it for now.